Mm.
It's gonna it's gonna be crazy. Yo,
Hey guys, how's it going?
how's it going, brother?
Good. Yeah.
Doing great. I'm doing great.
Alex,
Mateus, you
how's your
missed your
week, bro?
glasses, man.
Huh?
You missed your glasses. Where's your eyeglasses?
Bro, for real, I forgot them at the house, but it's all good. I can see you halfway.
Yeah, that works.
He decided to take the call on a coffee shop and blind. So it's like,
Yeah. So it doesn't even know
Yeah,
what he's
that's why I
doing.
have to keep you guys. If you see me kind of going like this, squinting my eyes, you know what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna bully either ways, but we're good.
But tell me,
All
brother,
right. What,
how's
what
your
do we
week
have,
been?
guys? Yeah, things have been good. Things have been stable so far. Like nothing too bad. Everything's getting better actually. So yeah, I guess that's it. What about you?
Pretty good, brother. Pretty good. Just working, trying to figure out more ways to make more money, like
Yeah, right.
always.
always.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
tell me, brother, walk me through a little bit on how things have been, and how the numbers looking like. Because I know last time we spoke, we were kind of fixing a little bit of your funnel and how your approach was on the messaging. But walk me through how the numbers are looking like this week.
Yeah, bro. Like, to be honest, as far as this point, I'm like, I already shared with you guys the success we got from last week's. So everything is actually getting way better ever since I think the game changer was all about the sales approach and the texting and these kind of stuff, because I know that there was something missing out of it, but I couldn't really pinpoint it or highlight it. But after those meetings, when we started going in depth, investigating where the issue would come from, like it's been a changer. Like for all the texts we're getting responses, like typically the drop rate is like in comparison to what it used to be, it's not even there, bro. Like it doesn't even exist anymore. And yeah, even with the opening sessions and with the deals, with the clients and the deals and everything's gonna, like, I wouldn't be exaggerating if I would say it's almost 200% success. Like I'm not really seeing it myself. Like I refuse to believe it, but every time I just open the numbers and go for the comparison, the filter with the previous months and this month, and it's going crazy, man.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. So just so the people that are hearing this right now, just so they can have a little bit more of an understanding. So tell us kind of like what you do, what's the name of the agency, what do you do, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, my name is Alex. I do have like a virtual assistance agency that we do provide real estate solutions and typically cold calling, texting, and all that stuff. And yeah, I've been doing this for quite a while right now, but it was missing something because we were so focused on the operations kind of part, like when it comes to the fulfillment, and we were totally missing the sales part. And yeah, once we started, we had that conversation a while back and we started talking about that consultation program that you guys are throwing in. And I said, all right, so I already know that I have a gap. So I'm not gonna be losing anything if I'm not just let's just test it out. I was pretty much like, I remember being very skeptical about it and just asking too many questions, being so much anxious about it. Like, is it really gonna work? But yeah, like I really didn't feel that comfortable until I started getting a few clients following the techniques and strategies. And that's when you guys started saying, okay, well, let's make it a huge change. Let's double out the numbers. And said, okay, well, yeah, let's see how far that goes. I'm just gonna follow and see how far. And right now, what we're getting is that throughout the last 90 days or 70 days, I think we're able to double down the numbers. And of course, I spent the last 2 quarters with no incoming clients, to be honest, because we were so focused on the operational side rather than exposing ourselves to the market. But ever since we went with that sales strategy and the techniques where everything's on autopilot and everything is well delegated and there's automations everywhere, things are way so different, bro. Like I don't even have to worry about getting new clients because it just keeps happening.
I love
The
it.
crazy thing is, by the way, is that you were the kind of guy that I remember I hopped on the call with you when you wanted to join, you sent me a message on Instagram, and you were the kind of guy that was like, "What? I don't know. I don't know this. I don't know that." You were like a kind of like headed guy that didn't know if you should trust us and everything. And one day you text me, you're like, "Okay, let's fucking do it," and here we are.
To be honest, like I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like it doesn't for me at first, it doesn't really make sense. Like I I had those too many questions, and even the hidden question, like imagine how many questions I asked at the first. I had almost doubled that number that I didn't say yet. But it just like, when you're just like, when you're having a business and it's up and running and you're making this amount, and then someone else would just show up and say, okay, I can help you double down that number. Well, what is it that you're going to be doing any different than what I already do? So it didn't like it really stepped on my ego a little bit. Like you're not doing magic and I'm not doing magic. We're doing the exact same thing. If you can do it, I can do it. So if you're saying that you can double it, why can't I? So even before jumping in, I started like, doing my own research, going here and there, like, and I found that there's so many things I'm gonna have to do. And I'm not even like, an expert with them. And every time I go somewhere, it says that you're gonna have to like, to know how to use this tool and you know how to like, put an SOP for that, a flow for this. And every time I come back and ask you guys, do you know how to do this? And say, yeah, I can. Well, okay. I see where the difference now. I think the reason why you guys can actually make things better because you do have the knowledge, you do have the structure, you do have the strategy. I don't really have to gather this from everywhere, spending hours in YouTube and just going through ChatGPT and doing all that stuff. You guys already have it ready. So yeah, I'm actually glad I made that call.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was 2 calls that we had to do, follow-ups. I had to follow up with you for like 2, 3 weeks, nonstop. But it was worth it, we can say.
Don't make me look bad, bro. Well, 2 to 3 weeks for like, a consultation and going all in with all of that. It would really make sense. That's the best thing about it. But like, yeah, like honestly, right now, if I would ever see like, if I know what you guys are having to offer and how this is well structured, I would definitely not gonna spend 2 to 3 weeks. Like this would have been like, an easily 24 hours call. Like, hey, what'd you guys do? Okay, 24 hours later, let me jump in. Where do I sign?
Exactly. That's the thing, bro. But the crazy thing too is like I get this asked a lot in calls and people that send me messages and everything. And this is something very curious. Tell people where you're from, bro.
Yeah, well, we're actually from Egypt. So
So
the whole workforce is actually Egypt based.
that's the crazy thing. People ask like, can I actually build a business in the US or in like UK and build a good agency, scale it to like 6, 7 figures and be in a country like Egypt or Nigeria or India or whatever, and you're a living proof of that.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it's like if anyone would ask, it is true that you can build a business that like, from anywhere in the world, and it could be like, investing in the US, but to maintain that business and to make sure that you're making double, like, you're making a very good amount of money that will make you like, satisfied with what you're doing and you're feeling secured with the business and not feeling like, this is something that might break down in a couple of months. I think this is the most value that was brought in from your consultation, guys, because like, back in the days when I was working this, yeah, we did start everything and we were functioning and everything, but we're just so limited to a certain cap rate that we really couldn't overcome because we're missing the tools and we're missing that kind of organization that you guys put in and the structure. So I can safely say, yeah, you can run the business, but to maintain that business and to make it even bigger and double it and triple it, yeah, that is definitely what you guys brought in. Like right now, I feel so much secured, more secure that me being in Egypt and having that business for like, that while I was right now, I'm never bothered. Like I'm not even worried about for how long can I maintain this because I already have people in my pipeline. I already have like, the structure. I already have everything. So why not? It's gonna keep working.
Exactly, and that's kind of like what the momentum funnel is all about. It's about just keeping the momentum going. And to be honest, it's great to work with people like you because when we first started, like sure, Sergio and I used to always say like Alex is like a grandpa, bro. Like he has all the fucking questions, you know. But it was good because you're getting so much intel from that. You're like learning a lot from that stuff, you know. And one thing that I want to touch is I know when you came in, you were making what, like how much were you making when you first came into the partnership?
So at the very beginning, like, you know, it was like around 10 to 15. At the very best month of the year, it would be around 20.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And how long have you been in the partnership?
I think we've been doing this for around like, I think it's almost a quarter right now.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's 4 months now, right?
Yeah, something
Yeah, 4
between
months, yeah.
Yeah,
Something along the
that's
lines.
4 months or 3 months. And bro, like, let me I can do I get to share this?
Drop the mic. Drop the
Do I get
mic.
to
Drop
share
the
this?
mic. Drop
Okay.
the mic. I don't want to
You
say
have the
I don't want
mic.
to say it because then, but I saw the numbers already because obviously you sent it.
I was
but
very glad.
Drop the mic.
I was very glad this morning when I woke up to this message. I was like, shit.
Yeah, well, we're getting to we're over hundreds right now, like 3 or 4 months in, and we're actually over the hundreds. I think it was around 120. So like take off everything and you're gonna be like net and out around 100, which is really, really cool. That's a number that we actually didn't really achieve before. Like we wouldn't really think, like, you know, the highest target we put for the year is going to be 50 grand, because that's what you're looking for. If you're making 10 to 20, like the easiest, hardest thing that you would reach out is going to be the 50. That's what you're going to be aiming for. So waking up in the morning and seeing that you're able to collect, like, you know, hundreds and over hundreds, that's pretty wild, man. Well, I double checked that text 3 times myself, so I wouldn't blame you if you do it.
Dude, that is fantastic, man. That is fantastic. Going from ten to $15,000 per month to $120,000 cash collected in a single month is phenomenal. That's so cool.
Say that
Proud of
again.
you, bro.
Cash collected. Say that again. Cash collected, not revenue.
Yeah, of course. So collected.
That's crazy, man. But
That is
people
awesome.
might be asking themselves right now, what was it that we like mainly focused on to make such a big jump in such a short period of time? So maybe share with the people a little bit some sauce, like we call it.
So yeah, I
Drop
think
it.
that the highest thing that came off is that when we had those, like, you know, the very first conversations, we were talking about, like, you know, my business and how I'm structuring the business, and you guys kept asking all these questions about the module: what kind of offers do I do, what kind of fulfillment do I give, what happens if this happens, what do you do if that happens, and all these questions. So according to these conversations, you guys were able to, like, you know, pinpoint what are the things that we're so good at, that we're super comfortable with, and you started to, like, you know, balance it with all the things that we're so far from. Like, we were so good with, after those meetings, I actually started to understand that we're so good with the fulfillment, but we're so missing when it comes to the sales part. And when you guys started asking me those questions about the sales side, and I couldn't even answer because I don't have a technique, we don't have a strategy, we don't have the tools. And then you guys, all right, Alex, you have a huge gap in this one, so you got to make sure that this is filled in ASAP. And that's when we started to jump on those meetings and, like, you know, talking about these tools, throw in the texts, work on the templates, put a structure for everyone, look at the numbers and run the analysis and all of that, and just see how are that, like, you know, the marketing campaigns are working out for you. Choose when to open it and when to shut it down, focus on what you have, how to build for a pipeline as far as the sales. And all these conversations, when we start to implement, not just talk about it, like, things started to make sense one by one. I remember when we were doing that, like, you know, that small change in the texting templates and the texting features, and started to get, like, you know, much more higher response. And then we said, okay, so we started to get the hang of it. Now we're getting more meetings booked, which means the closer you are to a close. So let's keep the texting as is right now with the no changes. Let's never go back to this. And by building that pipeline, we're actually able to get the conversion rate that we're looking for. So I think the most value that was added is actually the sales part, and how to structure, like, you know, the sales team, how to make sure that you're giving everyone their own framework and how to make sure it's going live and active, you're just gonna have to overview and manage.
That's what we talk about in the momentum funnel a lot. That's why I like me and Matthias like to call it momentum funnel, is because we don't want to be in the fully like day to day, like doing everything. Like you were doing the sales when you joined and everything. We set up sales teams, everything to be able to manage the calls. And the momentum funnel means that you get so much momentum that instead of having to be in the day to day, you go into tweaker mode. You tweak this thing, tweak this thing. It
Yeah.
works. You continue. Okay, that works. I take it back if it doesn't work. Tweak this thing, tweak this thing, and that's the funnest. Like that's when you have fun in business. Like be tweaking all the time. Like, does this work? Does this work? Does this work? And that's when you have fun in the business.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like those kind of changes when you're actually like, doubting everything when it comes to how you run it, and just try to like, change things one by one to know if it's gonna work or if it's not. Because if it works, you want to build on it. But if it doesn't work, you want to make sure that you have the accessibility to easily change it or just remove it from your whole structure so it doesn't really go with a mess everywhere. That was pretty useful. I would definitely agree with that.
I'm so happy for you, man.
Thank you,
It's
bro.
crazy. I'm so happy. 120K. And talking about the 120K cash collected this month. So we have 3 days left yet to this day. So
Well,
let's
Yeah,
see.
27th. 27th.
bro, I'm already with you in the meeting and the team is already working, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna get some logged in,
No,
right?
4 days. Sorry, it's 4 days. It's not 3,
Yeah.
it's 4.
Yeah, either ways, right now, since like, it's a more of an autopilot, so I'm pretty sure the team is already working in the back end and we can land on something. We'll see about it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's fucking
That's so
go.
cool, man.
So
Because if you have phenomenal fulfillment, like, dude, the amount of case study this guy has just made the convincing before the call so much easier. You know, like I feel like that was your biggest bottleneck, which was like you're great at fulfilling, but you're, to be honest, terrible at selling. You know,
Yeah,
and I
I'll
feel
take it
like
as a compliment though.
I feel like when we were able to structure like, okay, let's gather some case studies because we have to leverage this. It was like insane, like, because with the results that you have, it makes no sense. It's a no brainer for someone wanting the types of service that you deliver not to go with you. Which is awesome.
Yeah, honestly, it feels great. Like I'm forever gonna be grateful for this because, like, hands-on, this has been a game changer. I'm not even gonna like try to sugarcoat it and make myself look better, like, even with all that kind of egoistic sides that I do have. But like, for real, yeah, that after talking to you guys, after seeing what you guys can put in, it seems like I am terrible at the sales part. So yeah, focusing on
Not
what you're
anymore. Not
good
anymore.
at. Yeah, not anymore. Now we're getting things better. Like I'm fast learner. But like,
Let's go.
before it was awful, it was disastrous, it was everywhere. So nothing was really structured. But with the structure that's put in, it's getting so much better. Like right now, I'm not even worried about the sales conversion. I'm not worried that, like, how much am I gonna have to pay for the marketing campaign, and is it gonna pay out for me? Is it gonna get me results, or is it just gonna be another campaign that goes in blank? And this gets me, like, ROIs in negative. These are things that I don't want to ever come across again.
exactly. That's crazy, man. But now talking about the numbers and talking that it's crazy that you hit 120K, 4 days left. I want to see 130 at least. So what's the goal, bro? What's your goal? How does next month look
Well,
like?
for the next 4 days or for the next?
Nah,
Well, to be honest, man, I think it has been crazy to get the hundreds while we were actually trying out, like, so hard to get the 50K. But now that since we already got the hundreds, then why not just aim for 500,000, right? Like, it doesn't seem too far now. It just seems too easy.
fucking
Like,
do it.
put in the same structure, do things as they should be, keep working the stuff that you do understand, the things that you don't just start delegating them, work in the team, and why not? So yeah, I think potentially we're just aiming for 500,000. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be so all over the place when we jump on that meeting talking about the 500,000. But yeah, we're gonna get to it for sure, man.
By the
That's
end of
awesome.
this year, for sure. 100%, bro.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people underestimate how much work it actually takes. You know, it's like you're saying, like you're doing 20 hours a day, man, like every day working on this agency. You know, um, it's 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 good to work with guys like you because you know what it takes to make big boy money. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like you're working on like front end how to fulfill, or front end on how to fucking, you know, get prospects on a call with you and close them. No, you're doing like tweaks here and there, but it still requires work. A lot of people, they think like, oh, my company is on autopilot, let me fucking take a vacation to the Maldives and leave it in the hands of my, you know, of my guys. No, that's not how that
Yeah,
works, you
that
know.
doesn't work. That really doesn't work. Like if I ever learned anything, like, when you stay away from your work just because you think it's like, well providing and everything's on autopilot, that means that you're missing money and funds that you never knew that they exist because you didn't give it enough attention. Like if you can make, let's say that you can make like, 100 grand or 20 grand while you're in autopilot, then definitely, for sure, 100%, if you put in the work needed and you stop giving it like, that autopilot kind of sequence, and just go back to business, give it the work, even treat it as if it's your 9 to 5, just spend those 9 hours at least working, you're gonna double those numbers. You're gonna be able to get more regardless how much money you're making. So you could be making like, 10 grand, and you think, okay, that's good, I'm not gonna be able to make more, so I'm just gonna leave it on autopilot. No, if you go back there and just put in the hours, put in the efforts needed, you're gonna double it. And even if you're gonna be making more, it's gonna be the same thing.
For sure. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what it takes because you're ambitious, right? If you just wanted to coast at 50K, I'm sure you could just, you know, do your tweaks and then do your thing like all day long, just like chill at the pool or whatever. Because you know the weather in Egypt doesn't get better than what it is. So I think that's what I like about you a lot is because like I said in the beginning, you're like a fucking grandpa, bro, hopping on a bunch of calls with us, trying to like understand everything, but you got so much intel and like you have that like that mindset of like no 120 50 whatever the case is not enough, I have to push for more, and I love that.
Well, to be honest, like, you gotta have the motivation. That's the thing. Like, you gotta keep yourself motivated. If you just like, if you just look for that kind of short goal that you can easily achieve, then it's not even like, good enough to be called the goal. If you can achieve it, then you just, what's next? I think the main thing that you should do, like, put in the work. Like previously, I used to spend the same amount of hours working, but just going randomly with no plan, with nothing structured, just trying to figure out everything. But right now, even those 20 hours that I spent in 6 days a week, yes, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort and pressure. Sometimes you just hate yourself sitting in the laptop, but at the same time, you do know that right now it's more organized. Now, rather than building, you're trying to overview everything, guide everyone, making sure that everyone is doing it in the most smooth way and everyone's feeling comfortable running this. So rather than just leave it there and go on autopilot and just enjoy the vacation and spend 3 weeks doing absolutely nothing, waiting for the money to be collected by the team, when the team sees you put in the effort with them, that's when you go even like, 10 times harder. And that's when you start to feel motivated. So I think I would never, like, regardless how much money I'm gonna be making, I'm never gonna be going those like, 3 weeks holiday. I'm not gonna be that kind of guy. I think I'm just gonna stay there. That's the
That's
thing.
why that's why you grew so fast too. To grow from 15K around the lines, 10, 15K to 120K cash collected in like 4 months, that's crazy. That's completely crazy.
Bro,
But that's
when you
also
see the
because
chance,
you
you
are
gotta
crazy.
just catch it. Like there's no way. Like, I saw the opportunity, and when what you guys were like, showing off and talking about started to make sense, I said, okay, well, what's gonna happen if I don't do this? Like, am I gonna regret this? Because it seems like there's results and numbers out of it. So when I tested that 1% out of what you guys are saying, I started to get different results, and it matches what you guys are promising. So that's when I didn't want to stop. Like, I'm not gonna be doing like, those 2 hours a day. I'm not gonna be doing it as like, a side thing when I'm free. No, I'm just gonna give it the time because I see that this is gonna be bringing in value. And that's when everything changed. Like, heading from 15 to 120, that's definitely a lot of effort and a lot of consultation. So I'm pretty sure we spent like, those 4 months, we spent too many hours, like out of those 20 hours a day, at least 4 of them were yours. But yeah, that's what got us there.
I remember that, like, that sometimes you just were like, Sergio, I need to hop on a call again. Matthias, let's hop on a call. I need help. I need help. And you're like spamming us messages like nonstop. It was funny, but at the end of the day, we worked hard all together, and now what's gonna happen? We're taking it to $500,000, and like I always say to you, my goal and Matthias' goals with this partnership is to make anywhere from 50 to 100K just from you as one client. So we need to take you to that goal, bro.
Yes, sir. Well, let's make it happen. I'm excited. Like, I've seen it happening, so why not? Let's aim for half. And who knows? Like after the half, we're just gonna be aiming for 1 mil.
100%.
Be easy then, right?
Sky's the limit. That's how we say.
Yes, sir. Let's make
But
it
the
happen.
next thing also we need to focus on talking about that is that now you have been working 20 hours and everything, but now, like we have been working on the last meetings, is that we need to set up kind of like team leaders and managers set in place that can be able to, that you can train for now the next 1-2 months to be able to delegate certain like management tasks to them, so you can start getting your time back, not to go on like holidays and your team just does everything, but of course to do more leverage and like take you to that $500,000 to $1 million a month, because to get to that level you need to be able to delegate and like actually be able to focus on the main things.
Yeah, I think
So
I totally agree with this. And right now, it's not like, the plan is not to do everything myself, but the plan is when I start off delegating, I want to make sure I'm the most educated and useful person when you come back to me for an advice. Like if I'm gonna put this as an autopilot, I gotta make sure like, whomever I'm gonna be delegating, I can do it like, 10 times better with highest efficiency possible. So I can tell if they're doing it right, or I can help them if they're doing it wrong. But I don't want to like,
100%.
start delegation. And when people are coming back to me and saying, hey, Alex, how can I do this? Or it's taking me too long and I'm not able to find a better way. And I say, I don't know, just let's find another way. Like I would hate myself if I looked like, with that image for my team. And that's why I'm trying to like, make sure that before I go on with the delegation, I fully understand the tasks that are going to be given and handed. And even because I want to make sure that when I get those reports after the delegations, they would start to make sense to me. I would know if the numbers are going up or high, or even could go higher. Like that's when you start to know if the team is slacking or the team is consistent, or even you do have like, as ambitious team as you are.
exactly, completely. You just need to understand the reports, the KPIs, and everything to be able to set standards for your team. That's the main thing, always.
Yep.
100%. But man, you need to go and make money. We need to go and make money. So with that being said, one more thing. I want to tell you to tell the people that might be on the fence, that might be thinking, oh, should I join? Should I do this? Should I maybe work with Mateus one-on-one and Sergio one-on-one to be able to scale my agency? Maybe just build and scale it, or to scale it from 10, 15K like you were at, to scale it to $500,000 like we're doing in 1 year. So what would you tell this kind of people to right now?
Bro, like I'm just gonna start by saying this, like, before I jump into this program and the consultation, like, I had to spend like around a month going back and forth with questions and being skeptical about it. And right now, I do regret not spending that extra month working with you guys, because like if I were able to make that like, amount of money in 4 months, imagine what I could have done in 5. So like that's the best way to get through it. But to be honest, like, for the people who think like, you shouldn't be entitled to, like, it doesn't really come with like, the entitlement, like, hey, I'm just going to talk to Sergio Madeis, they're going to do magic and they're going to be working thing. No, it doesn't really work like that. Like, if anyone is going to be seeing this, you got to put in the work. It's not like, you're going to find everything ready for you. The guidance is the most important, the feedback is the most important, but what really matters is you applying these points and giving it the enough effort and time to see the results. Other than that, you might still get the results, but it's going to take you longer. So if you want to make sure that, like, you see that magic happens, well, you gotta do what it takes to get that magic done. So you gotta give it the time. You gotta make sure that you don't do those 2 hours a day. You gotta make sure that you're ready to work in your Sundays. You gotta make sure that you're following up, you're on top of everything to get it done. I think that's the best way to describe it. Like, if you're on the fence and you're really thinking like, should I do this or not? Well, 100% go for it, because it is going to be different. I can tell you that, but it's only going to be different when you put in enough work. If you jump in with the same momentum and the spirit that you had before jumping in, then the results are going to take you longer. So make sure that this is going to be your boost to get the real results.
That's what we
That's
call
it.
it, momentum funnel.
Yes, sir. That's what we
Excellent.
call
Love it.
it.
I love
love
it,
it.
man. I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate the day, and let's make some money.
Yes, sir. Well,
Let's go,
thank you
bro.
for your time, guys. I guess I'll see
See
you
ya.
soon. Wait for my texts.
I want to
Got
see
you,
the
man.
130K the next few days, bro. I want to see
Yes,
the
sir.
text.
That's what we're aiming for. Well, thank you guys for the meeting. Really appreciate it.
See ya, man.
Let's go. See you, brother.